So I was on a plane coming back from Vegas. I'm getting these $1 each, incredible hazelnut wafers here. It's a Kroger store. It's called Food for Less. When you have a lot of these here. If I could turn to my assistant and say, make me a Kroger's, shopping card so I can get points or whatever. It's good to have these things anyway. So $1 here, $1 there, and let's get some points for it. But the key thing is, you're looking at on Instagram my stuff from. This was a flight that was landing in Las Vegas. I think the year was probably whatever the year is, whatever year is you see there. But I have a memory from that flight when I was on that flight. And if you read the caption, I'm going to scroll through the caption slowly. I'm also going to link to it. I'm not going to repeat it here. But it's a beautifully written caption. That's my style. That's my style. Down to the sentence structure, it ends up kind of... It lops on you the way the world should be, and suddenly we start to question the way things are and look at them differently. You kind of have no choice. It's very beautiful, but it's about like all things that are literary. Some could say hypnotic. I'm not a hypnotist. I'm not a very good one. You got to be very, very skilled, and I just don't have the verbal fluency. I'm pretty good with verbal compared to visual, spatial, and math, but you got to have the verbal fluency. So you try to hypnotize someone, you just end up being really giving them a living hell in real time. But it is hypnotic. You could say it's hypnotic, and the way that I do it. And you look out the window, and there's all those lights, and it's still an emerging city. 2000, I think 21, or it might have been 2020. It was 2021. Might have been the year earlier, whatever year it was. A lot was happening at the time, and this was right after I was coming back for the second time from Mexico, and so actually for the third time. For the first time, I drove down there. Top teeth were all rotting out. And so they put my crowns in, zirconia crowns for pennies on the dollar from Baja California in Algodones, across the way from Yuma. And then the second time I went there, they did the fillings on the bottom. But what happened was, or actually they did the crowns, and one of the crowns had come off when I went back to Nevada. And so I said, okay, let's get a plane ticket. So the second I just got on the plane, this was long after U.S. Airways had gone apart. So this would have been probably American Airlines. This was on American Airlines. I was on American Airlines. It was an American Airlines flight into Phoenix. And then we got into Yuma on like an express flight, one of these Embraers. And then we got the dental work done and immediately flew back. So we got into Phoenix. And then this was the flight landing in Las Vegas. So if you read the caption, it seems like I'm talking about getting to be a kid again because I have no choice but to sit at the window seat, even though I prefer the aisle. I'm actually starting to prefer the window seat anytime I'm on a plane because I can just kind of, especially with the Southwest, these 737s, you got to sit in these three people. But the problem is for long flights, that's why I don't like Hawaii West Coast. I'd prefer to be somewhere where you don't have to get on a plane. You got to fly for 5 hours. The flight into Vegas is 40 minutes. The flight into San Francisco also. Why not get somewhere where there's something to do. I don't like flying across the Pacific Ocean for no reason, but it's 5 hours. So I gotta use the bathroom. I'm the kind of guy that because I gotta drink a lot of water, I have to use the bathroom. So, but I still, if I can get on a shorter flight, I prefer to be able to lean against the window. But the kids, they're shorter, and so it's just the height is perfect for them. But if you look at that picture, there I am looking out at an emerging city, spreading its wings or spreading out. This isn't Phoenix. Don't say spreading its wings, but spreading its arteries out into the desert, and it's just it's lifeblood that I was very rooted into. And these lights, it's the Venus of the city. But there was a woman that I was. That ended up when I had sat in my assigned seat, which was a window seat. She's a black girl, and you might know from my book. Once I was a reporter, I don't have any issues with that skin color. In fact, it's quite the other way. Despite all the things, it's very complicated. But and so she was. I ended up learning that she was going into Vegas, and how do we find out that she was familiar with this oyster bar at Harrah's? Because there's these little things that because you're not exposed to this stuff, and you should have been exposed to it sooner. If I had offered up my window seat to her, things would have gone very well. And I put my penis inside her,